episode 1 of the books that will change your life. Every month, I do book reviews for you of the books that I've been reading that really make a huge difference. I'm Ruth Kudzi, the founder of Ruth Kudzi Coaching. I transformed my life and my business, and I'm passionate about helping others do the same. So I'm going to start with this one, The One Thing by Gary Keller. So The One Thing. Well, I've talked before about simplifying to amplify, and this really does come from the book. Dial down on what you really want to focus on. At the moment, we can be bombarded with loads of bits of information, lots of things that we should be doing. In this book, he gets you to look at what is your one thing. What's your one thing at work? What's your one thing in your relationship? What's the one thing that you really want to focus on? And then you can get really streamlined by looking at that thing and making that your priority. And it's really easy to say no to things when you know what your priority is. Some great quotes in here is, when you make doing what matters most a priority is when your willpower is higher. So you prioritize your one thing. He suggests that you do the thing that is most important to you in your life, your work, your business, first thing. And there's lots of research that says when we make our priority, when we treat it as a priority and we do it first, we do it better. We don't have a chance to be bombarded with social media or emails or other people's agendas. This is about keeping it to your agenda. And he also says productive action transforms life. Productive action. Taking action in a way that's going to move you forward. So taking action when you don't have other distractions, switching off your notifications, switching off your emails, not having your phone, and really focusing on what you want to do. And when we do this, when we're able to simplify and focus on one thing and one thing at a time, we're able to move forward because we're not distracted. Our brain can focus on one thing. So what I would recommend to you from this is really thinking about what your one thing is. What is that thing that you want to focus on? And he gives you ideas to think about that in your work, your business, your relationships, and then look at what else you've got on your plate. Does this fit into your one thing? Does it fit into the thing that you want to achieve? Because if it doesn't, then that's a real sure sign that you can get rid of that, especially in the short term, to focus and prioritize. I think that we could all do with reading this book to streamline what we're doing. And it really helps as well because you don't need to do everything. I see people online the whole time and they're like, oh my gosh, I need to be on every social media platform and I need to be doing this and doing that. Actually take a step back. What is the one thing that is a priority for me? And then look at what you're doing in order to achieve that thing. What are you doing that is consistent with that thing? And that's how you move forward. So I'm going to count down. This was book number 3, The One Thing. So my second book of the month is Life Lessons from a Brain Surgeon. This is such a good book. I was lucky enough to see the author, Dr. Rahul Jandil, in London talking about this book, and it was amazing. He talks about the brain, he talks about neuroplasticity, and he talks about things that he has seen as a brain surgeon that can apply to all of us. The brain's ability to rewire itself. The fact that he's operated on young children and removed parts of their brain, and the brain has been able to rebuild itself. The fact that we can build new neural pathways, new neurons, new ways of being. It is a real book that makes you think about our brains. And actually, what he talks about a lot is how to keep our brains healthy, how we can use our memory, how we can boost that, how we can control stress. Things that he really helped me to do from this is looking at things like intermittent fasting. Why do we do that? Why does that work for us? And I know that from reading this book, it had a massive impact on me. I actually started doing IF more regularly because it actually helps us cognitively. So there's the evidence, there's a science in here. He talks about what we can do to improve our memory. And there's nothing really new in here. We know about eating a mainly plant-based diet. We all know that. But he talks about why. We all know that sleep is important. He talks about how we can reduce stress and the impact of stress on our brains. He talks about how learning something new each week makes a difference to our brains and our brain health, and that can help protect and delay against dementia, Alzheimer's, all of those kinds of things. So this is a must-have book if you're really thinking about, okay, what can I do to protect my brain as well as my body? It is the things that we know, that we see time and time again. But I think when you learn it from somebody who works with people who've got problems with their brain, it really makes you stop and think. And it makes you think about, okay, what are those small things that I can introduce into my week that will help me reduce stress, that will help me to function better, and that will help protect my brain long term. So this is book number 2. Highly recommend it. He's a fantastic speaker too. So we've had book number 3. We've had book number 2. What's book number 1? Well, we didn't start at 5, but it is the 5-second rule. So the 5-second rule is by Mel Robbins. Mel Robbins is a fantastic speaker, former lawyer and coach. And she talks about how when we think about doing something, we actually talk ourselves out of it. So many times in our lives, we consider that we're going to take action. We consider we're going to do something. And then between that moment where we think, we've been able to stop ourselves doing it. I do this so often, with social media. I might think I've got a great idea, and then I start second guessing and thinking, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't post that. Maybe that would upset someone, or maybe that would do. Or with exercise, let's go for a run. Oh, well, maybe I'll wait until, wait a minute, it's the day's gone. What Mel suggests you do is when you make that decision, you count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you do it. You take that first step. Don't get into that tussle in your brain when you're saying to yourself, you're giving yourself all those excuses about why you shouldn't do something. In fact, give yourself 5 seconds and do it. And I think that we can apply this to every area of our lives. This is a surefire way to kick procrastination in the butt, as Mel would say, and actually take action. It's a surefire way to get stuff off your list, because we all know that we can think about 1,000,001 reasons why we don't do things. And often it's things that we don't want to do. Often it might be things that we've been putting off. So when you apply this rule to your life, and she says start with your alarm, instead of your alarm going off and you thinking about snooze, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get out of bed. So when you apply this to every area of your life, you're going to make quicker decisions, you're going to take more action, and you're going to get better results. You can't really argue with any of that. So book number 1, The 5-Second Rule by the brilliant Mel Robbins. Our next video is coming on down here. But remember, if you like this content, please subscribe, like, and let me know any good books that you've been reading recently.